Hi everyone, welcome to another session from Chandigarh Group. We will be starting in 10 minutes. I hope everyone is safe out here. And in another 10 minutes, I hope everyone joins and we'll hand over to Aviral for this session. Thanks. Hi everyone. I think we have enough audience to start a session. Uh, Good evening, good morning somewhere. So now we would be starting with a session. This is our ongoing session series going on every weekend by Chandigarh Group, and we are very lucky to have Aviral with us. I I think everyone knows
Hi,
Aviral
Pat.
from the com. Hi, everyone knows Aviral from community, from Twitter, from LinkedIn. He has been presenting in every community group or the dreaming events till now. He is the youngest MVP all across the world, and I am not sure if you do, but he has amazing series of blog going on. So I hope everyone can learn from this session about the flows. Flows is something which is very interesting topic in Salesforce right now, and there is a lot of content on it by amazing trailblazers, but still somewhere it's missing out. And I think people like Aviral are promoting it day by day to get more content on blogs, so we all get guidance and can include it in our daily life. So all over to Aviral, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. So, hi everyone. I hope everyone is safe and fine. So, today's session is about the latest updates that have been added to the flows, and also we will do a hands-on kind of thing. Also, we will basically build a flow to go through the basic things that we have in the flows. So, let's start. So, this is me, Aviral Agarwal. So, so these are the some things like Winter 21 is coming in this month. Most of the sandbox get refreshed, and by October, like it will be moved into the productions. So in Winter 21, there are a lot of things that have been added to the flows. So I'll be going through them one by one. Also, if you want, you can check this link and you can go through all the updates. Basically, this is the release document link, and you can find all the updates that have been added this year to Flow Builder. So let's start one by one. So as you all know, like in the last release, the Flow's got super amazing feature that is triggers. So earlier to this release, we were having features like on the create and on update, and also on create and update, of course. But we were not having any control over the delete event. But in this release, we the in Winter 21 we have a feature for the delete action as well. So on before delete, we can execute now whatever actions we want in our flows. So this is very amazing feature because as of now for admins, there was no feature or no control over the delete event. Basically they have to depend on Apex or triggers for the delete action, and if they want any kind of action to be performed, then they basically have to move to the triggers. So this is a major add-on. Flows in earlier also flows were able to delete, but they were not able to trigger on the delete event. So this makes it a very amazing add-on kind of thing. So let's see how it happens. So I've created this flow to run on delete event. So let's see how this delete event looks like. So this is the so if you create a triggered flow, right, then you will land on something like this, and you can choose an option to run on create update, create an up or updated. But it's deleted. This is the latest thing that has been added, and this runs in the before mode, of course. So you can do various actions using this record deleted. Like if you want, whenever a contact is deleted, then you want to delete the case or something. So any kind of related things you want to do, or let's say if you say whenever a case is deleted or any custom object is deleted, then you want to create a related record or unrelated records as well. So you have full control over those things. Whatever action you want to perform, that we can perform very easily. So this is the thing that has been added for the delete thing. So let me show you. So this basically this flow runs for the roll up thing that I'll go through later on. So this was the delete action in brief, what it does and how it gets triggered, and its demo I'll show you later on how it works. So basic roadmap is, you if you want to use this, just create a flow with a record triggered flow type of, and then you choose delete as the action. Then we have debug flow errors and sandbox as another user. This is again amazing thing for admins. So what happens earlier, like there were users who have different kind of permissions in our org, right? So there are many users who have different field permissions, different profiles, OWD. So we, and as admin, most of the times admins have all of the permissions, and flow runs very seamlessly. But what happens in real world, like when we push this to the org, we create in the org, when real users uses it, they face some permission errors or something, and the flow runs does not run smoothly. So this is again an amazing feature to debug the flow. They can now set up, they can now debug a flow with another user. They can basically choose whichever user they want, and then they can run the flow. So for doing this, they need to enable something. So if they go to setup, they have to type process automation settings, or else they can move to process automation section, and then they can find process automation settings, and then they have to enable this checkbox if they want to debug as another user as well. So this feature is available in this release, and now admins can run a flow in debug mode as another user as well. So this was a very major add-on. So if I save this, then, and of course you cannot run a debug mode for the triggered flows. So I'll show you some other flow. So this was my screen flow, and you can run this in debug mode, and then you will have option to basically choose another user, and then you can run flow for according to that. So like this, so this checkbox becomes available only after you give this permission that we added earlier. So after doing this, you get something like this, and then you can select any user for which you want to run. Let's say a viral. So when we debug the flows, generally they run in system mode. So you have to take care whether your flow is in system mode or not. If you want to check, the best way is to go to in the settings, then go to advanced settings, and then you can find which mode your flow run ends. If your flow is in system context, then it won't work. It should be either in system context, and it should enforce record level access, or it should be run in user level. So if it is in these two modes, then this user based debugging will work. But if it is in system mode, or in where all the access is given basically in Apex without sharing, so it is that only. So in that case, debug thing will not work. But if you have this permission, or you run flow in this mode, then you can debug flow as another user, and all the permissions will be enforced. So if I run this flow now, then it will be running as a viral, and you can see the user started the flow, and then you can of course debug the flow. So if anybody is new here who does not know about flows or something, so this is the debug mode. We generally build our flows in this screen, and then we debug to basically test step by step, and here we get step by step thing how our flow is moving. So these are the elements, basically elements as in these boxes, and as our flow moves ahead, a box is created here with the information like how data is flowing. So this is the debug mode, and it is very helpful when we create a complex flows or general flows, because we create here through like we just create in a go. But when error comes in, this thing really helps. You can actually see data transforming from one box to another. So this becomes very handy in that case. So another thing is, let's go to the slide. So this is another major thing. So when we build very complex flows, or flows with having like 50 or 70 elements, like a big flows kind of, then we face a issue in which we cannot position our flows very great in a good manner, and we produce a mess basically. And if another person views it, he can he will not be able to find whatever he came for. So the best thing that they have added this time is this button, which changes the layout into a very structured way. And you can relate this if you have worked on journey builder or something. It looks like that only. So so you can see this layout is not that much good. And if I change this, okay, cannot change this. So let's change this one. So this is already running into beta mode. And if I change this to normal, it will look like something like this. And basically you can, put it anywhere where you want. But when we change it to this auto layout mode, then we get this plus signs, and our option to choose elements also goes. Only this plus sign you can click, and then you can select whichever event you want to use. So this becomes very handy, and the flow looks very good. And if any other person even looks, he can understand very easily, and this will become very handy. So in this, if you see, like, our flow is starting here, and then we go for get records, we check if it's null or not, and then we go for a loop. So you can see a loop continues, and when loop ends, we go to for this action, and then we end. So basically you can see entire journey in a go. So that's another thing that have been added, and it's amazing thing actually to keep your flow in a good structured way. Then we have uh, improved the performance and precision of the record. So now when we have triggered flows, in triggered flows earlier we were not able to have not able to pass the criteria when we get the record. So by that I mean, when I select the object, now I can pass the conditions as well. So this is something that is added recently. It was not present in uh, until now. So now I can select any kind of condition, like I have passed as of now, amount should not be null and account ID should not be null on opportunity object. So if you check in your current orgs, you won't find this section. You will just have the access to choose object. And then what we're doing as of now, we were adding another decision after getting the record, and then we were filtering. But now you can add filters directly here, and it will become very handy to filter out records and to run flow very seamlessly. Right. So these were some additions. Let's move to some more. So there are many this time. Then we have take up flow path only when certain records changes are made. So this is basically if you want to use update trigger flows, and you want to run it on a particular update, that also now we can control. Although we don't have is changed kind of thing that we have in process builders or old map new map comparison that we do in triggers, but here you can, they have provided a beautiful checkbox that you can use and to filter this thing. So let's go to update trigger. So this trigger runs basically whenever my record is created or updated, and in this thing I can control this. So this trigger basically runs whenever opportunity is created or edited, and then I have this new thing that has been added, and it will only run whenever this condition is updated. So this basically says that whenever a record is updated and matches particular this condition or is updated to meet this condition, only then it will execute, or else it will stop. So if I select this, it will run in update mode and with checking the criteria. So this is a major add-on because we don't have is changed, or we cannot check the previous value in flows, but we can do this. So we can control those things as well. So then we have then now we can use and or other custom operations that you want, and you can filter, you can basically add different kind of logic while passing the criterias. So let me show you how they looks like. So here you can see I have condition for and. So earlier to this we were having only two options. First was none, then we have and, but now we have two more options, that is or you can pass a custom logic like we pass in reports and also in our Apex triggers as well. So you can build up a custom logic like putting not or any other gates, or you can select or you can select and. So this is something that they have added, and it's really helpful now to create some complex flows. Then the debug mode. Now in auto launch flows, we can debug directly on the canvas. So for those who don't know what canvas is, so this white section, we say this screen as canvas, and the debug mode was that I showed you earlier, this one. Now we can debug here only, and we can see which element is doing what, but this runs only on auto launch flows, not on the trigger ones and not on the screen. So auto launch flows are those which only runs. So this is the auto launch flows, and they run when, if you want to, launch your flow through process builder or through Apex or any other way. So basically they don't trigger by their own, and they don't have any user experience kind of thing. Right. So let's see this flow. This flow is the auto launch flow, and if I click on this button, so this is the new button that they have added, debug on canvas. And if I do this, so I have my options. So first is run as another user. In this, I can select other user by which I want to run my flow. This we enabled recently. Then we have this run flow in rollback mode. This is a nice thing that they have added last time. What it does, whatever action you perform in debug mode, it basically changes them from if your flow creates an opportunity record and you are debugging that, and if you are running in rollback mode, then this opportunity will be removed after you finish your debugging. And let's run. So earlier it was looking something like this. Now you can see this thing like this. So now you have control over the elements, and you can see elements, and you can see that what is updated and where my flow is. So that is how this new thing looks like, but this is only limited to auto launch flows and not for the screen or the record triggered. Right. Then we have easily access to related records data in auto launch flows with triggers. So by the term easily access related records data, it means we can now access related lookup fields, lookup object fields through triggers in flows. So earlier to this point, we were not able to select. Let's see this. So if I want to select, let's say my record. So dollar record is the current record on which trigger is happening or which is triggered. So this is dollar record, and now you can see I can have my related records as well. On my opportunity, I will look up to contact, and I can fetch all the contact records, contact fields from here only, and I can go ahead as well. So this is something that they have added for trigger flow as well. So earlier to this, these were only available in screen flows and auto launch flows, but now it is available here as well. So this is again a great add-on, because earlier to this we were creating another get records and then we are fetching other details, but now you can do everything in one. Right. So, and the last update is you can use your global logs variables. That means your custom label, custom metadata, custom settings, all in everywhere in flows actually. So earlier to this, we were only able to use those things in our formula variables. But now you can use them anywhere in the flow. If you create any custom setting, you can use that. If you want to use current username and all those things that you can do. So I'll show you example. Here you can see this shows hello, this is Aviral. So this Aviral term is coming from the logged in user first name. And let me add some name. Let's say, if I hit next, then basically it fetches value and then displays the contact name. So these are the things that you can control now, and you can display names and all those things. So earlier to this also we were able to do this, and what we were doing, we were storing these value into formula fields, and then we were putting it on the screens. but now you can directly use these things on the screens and make your screens more interactive. So this is one more thing that they've added this time. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, we can take, or we can move ahead for the flow hands-on. So we have some questions. This delete is going to run before or after. So this is before, and before trigger event we can't use after delete, right? Yes, we cannot use as of now. We can just run. So there are many questions in chat, just reading them. Then we have these changes are like adding some power or process builder to flows. Yes, they are, but now they have gone beyond the process builder by adding delete. Can we send emails to using email templates? No, as of now, we cannot use email templates. You have to use flow templates only. How to display the line items in a screen flows? For this, if you want to display line items, what you can do, either you can use a data table component, or you can build up any custom component and then bring it into flows, right? Or you can display, you can basically store all the records as pick list values and then you can show. So, and then many times we cannot see all of our custom metadata labels. So I think there is limit of 100. I'll get back to you over Twitter or something. But Ishan, we have a limit, I think, of 100 labels that we can fetch at a time. Then can we use a get record both condition or and together? Like, yes, we can. So for using both or and we have custom logic that you can use, and then you can build up your own logic 1 or 2 and 3, something like this. Yeah, so I've completed all the questions, I think. So let's move to the hands-on part. So I've created a flow which, which what it does, it basically rolls up. And if you have a lookup relationship and you want to roll up the fields, then you can do using these two beautiful flows. And what they does, they run on create and update, also on the delete. So earlier to this, we were able to control create and update, but we were not able to control over the delete part. That's why the lookup thing was not possible for admins to control completely. But now we can. So let me show you how I'm doing this. So what I have done, I've created a field on account by the name total opportunity amount. What it does, it basically calculates all the amount present on the related opportunities and it sums up and displays here. I think someone, yeah. So basically it just sums up all the opportunity amounts and displays on the account object. So let me show you how I'm doing this. I've created two flows, one which runs on create and update, other one runs on delete. So let's see how it runs. Basically, I've created this on create and update, and it's running in the after mode. Then I have also passed two conditions here. First should be amount should not be null, and then account ID should not be null. It's very good practice to basically check nulls or to check nulls before using those values to prevent causing errors. Then I'm getting all the opportunity records through matching the account ID. So this account ID, I'm filtering using the current record on which my action is performed. So this dollar record presents the record on which the flow is triggered. And then I'm using the account ID of that particular opportunity. So if I show here, if I edit this opportunity 1, then the account ID of this particular opportunity will move into this, and then I can filter all the opportunity records who have same account ID. And also I'm checking if amount is not null. So these are the two conditions that I have passed, and I'm taking all the records. So if you have worked on Apex or triggers, so you must know, like, we can store records in the list of S objects. So similarly in flows, you can also create this thing. So all records mean list of S objects, and you can store all the opportunity records here. And then you can also store all the fields in a go. So like not in SOQL where you have to pass all the fields. Here you can just check this and all the fields comes in once. And if you want like to particularly select some fields and to save some time, then you can of course select those fields as well. Delete, right? So this was my get element. This is a query kind of thing. Then what I've done, I've created a loop, and it basically sums up all the opportunity that I've stored in that list. And then I move ahead. So if I show you my loop record, it just, we have to select the bucket in which all the opportunities are stored, and we store this bucket here. And then we take one opportunity record at a time, and then we move ahead. So here you can control first to last or last to first, and it will run one at a time. It will take one record and will move ahead. So let's say if I have 5 records here, then it will run 5 times till the bucket becomes empty, and it stores all the records again there. So here I am just adding all the records in my this variable. So my sum variable is a currency type variable. You can create any number of variables. That is very easy. Just create a new resource and then select the type of variable that you want to create, and you can create a variable that easy. So I've selected my sum variable, and I'm adding all the amounts that that are stored in the opportunity. So here you can see this new thing is created, and it is loop on all opportunities. So this is my one opportunity that is coming out of the bucket at a time, and I am getting the amount of that particular opportunity, and I am adding that amount into this variable. So at the end, when my loop will be over and I will be moving to this step, my entire amount will be stored in this variable that I created, and then I'll update that amount on the related account. So this is basically the update that we have in Apex. So you can relate it that. So here we have two options. Either you can pass the entire account record, or you can specify variables. So let's open this again. And this, I filtered it with ID equals record account ID. Basically, if I'm performing any action on this opportunity, so I am passing the ID of this Burlington Textiles to filter out the account. When I get this account, what I'll do, I'll update this field with this value. A very simple flow. So it does updates at the end. So let's see. Let me create opportunity here. So if I create a new opportunity in related of this account, let's create another opportunity. Let's say opportunity 2. Let's give amount 8,000. Let's choose a close date, stage, right? Let's save this. So my one value is 6,700 and other is 8,000. And if I go to my accounts page, let's reload this thing. Excuse me. So this value is updated and my total is correct. So it proves my this flow is working very fine. And if you now let's see what happens if any of the records gets deleted for this related opportunity and how it handles this. So let's say if I delete my this opportunity 6,700, right? So my other flow will run, which executes on the delete action, and it will change that value back to the value of one opportunity that we have only left. So let's go to details, and yeah, so it's 8,000. So it means my delete flow is also working fine. And for all this, I've just created two flows, no triggers, no process builders or anything else to call these. They run by their own. So let me show you the other one. So this is the delete flow. This is very similar to that. There are just two or three things that I've added in this. Firstly, I've added a filter to not to fetch the account, the opportunity ID that we have just deleted, to prevent from the wrong total. So when we were getting all the opportunity records, I've just added this one more filter, and I've added does not equal to this opportunity ID to avoid this one in adding to this list. And then there is another checkbox that I've added here. So what it does, it basically checks if the list that I'm getting from Salesforce, is it null or not. So if it's null, then it will store 0 into account, right? And if it's not null, then it will proceed to further actions. So this is always a best practice. Whenever you are using get records, you check for the null and then you perform your actions. Or if you not check the null, and let's say I have only one record left, and I have not added any null check there, and if I delete this record, the system will show error. That's why it's always a very good practice to add nulls in here also, and in triggers, of course, in Apex also. So that's the thing. So what it does is, this is the similar thing that we did earlier, and this step, this updates the related account and it updates a 0 value. So this was something we did for the roll up thing. So I've shown you like the value updated to 8,000, and if I delete even this one, let's delete this. So my flow will go now this way. Earlier it went this way, now it will go this way, and it will execute the default outcome, that is for the null. Let's reload this again. See, now it's 0. So my flow is working fine, and I can control on delete events and on create update. So this is a very beautiful add-on that they have did this time, and have added delete access also. So that's it on this. Let's take some questions. Okay, so hi Viral, can you please repeat the use case? Do you use Apex CPU limits to? Yes, so here we hit Apex CPU limits as well. So if you run, and also we face governor limits issues also. So if you always take those concerns with you, like in here also we cannot perform any DML operations inside the loop. We can, but we should not, because that might hit the governor limits. DML operations like update, create, or anything, so that we don't add here. And also we don't add any kind of get or something, so that also can hit the SOQL limit. So both of the things we also take care, and we avoid hitting governor limits, because here also we have those. And also one more thing, most of the people don't know, like we can also write test classes for flows. So if let's say your client or something is worried about the coverage, or if they are safe or not, then you can create test classes, and if your flow does not passes those classes, those runs, basically test runs, then uh, it will not be able to move to production. Let me show you. uh, Something here. So mm, so I think I missed that thing. This what this. No. Okay, let's see. It should be here. Basically, what we can do, there was a checkbox I'm not able to find, so I'll update later. So basically, what it does, if you enable that feature, then you can run test classes. Uh, you can create a test class basically, and if those test classes coverage passes 75%, and then only your flows basically moves into productions. So all that thing also we have in flows. And the next question from Wazir, how to query the collection variable using get records. So we can, with collection variables, as in if you want to fetch all the related records of, let's say if you want to get all the related records of account, related opportunities that we cannot do as of now, but what you can do, you can get all the opportunities which are linked to particular ID. So we can go other way, but we cannot fetch a collection as of now. Then we have Umang, could we just not deduct the amount of opportunity being deleted? You can only deduct the amount of opportunity being deleted. Yes, so that also we can do. So I was just saving my time and doing that thing. But yes, of course, that will be a good practice to add on. Like if you want to skip this, you can just delete the new opportunities amount from that current total. Okay, so that's it. So I just have an announcement, like from next month I'll be starting a series in which I'll be instructing flows from very scratch, and you can learn them. If you're interested, then you can register on this link, and I'll be connecting on weekends, and I'll start from very basic, like what are variables, and we will cover up till last, that is like integration callouts and all that stuff. So if you are interested, you can go there and register yourself, and we will cover up all those things in the October. So yeah, so that's it. If you have any questions, you can connect with me on Twitter or LinkedIn or on my blog. I'll be happy to help. And if you have any questions related to flows or something, yeah. Hmm. Let's share this. So this link is very simple. Bitly OCT for October. Then we have flows. So, Abhiral, I've heard flow being the focus for SF and process built on a backseat is flow. Everything a process can do. It can do more, almost everything, and like you can even do those things which flows cannot, process builder cannot do. And yes, of course, Salesforce is now focusing more, like entirely on flows, I can say, because they have not produced any updates for process builder. So you can say like they are focusing more on flows, and they have powered it very enough, and you can perform various things using this. So this is the most powerful admin tool, and I would say it is more underrated tool as well. Like people don't use this much, but they should at least try, if they want to create any basic things, that they should, then they should use this. I personally use flows very much. If I have any use case that I want to use, then I try firstly using with flows, and if there are certain limits, then only I go for trigger. But flows are really amazing. Yeah. So let's. So Parth, I think we can conclude.
Yeah, I think we have covered a lot of questions in it. And rest people, if any other question, anything you have in mind, you can have a chat with Avril directly. It's available on Twitter, LinkedIn, Success Community, or you can directly ping him up. And I would request everyone to follow his blogs. He has amazing series of blogs on flows. Please follow that, and I hope everyone had a great session. We have learned everything.
And
we'll,
just to add on, like if you want
sure.
to use these flows, I've created, I've added on my blog as well. And if you want to basically use this, you can just install this unmanaged package into your org, but make sure that is a trial org, because these changes are not in all the sandboxes. If you want to do that, so you can go to this link and you can download this. You can use this link to add these two flows into your org, and if you want to do hands-on on this. So I'm also giving link for this trial log if you want to create. So this is in chat. So this is link for the trial log for Winter 21 that you can use for hands-on, and this is the link for the blog in case if you want to do hands-on on these. Yeah, Pat, you can continue.
Cool. I'll share the link in the newsletter from so everyone can have access to that. And thank you very much. I hope, and also I would like everyone to let us know if there was any feedback you guys have or anything we need to improve in our future webinars. And we'll have a Viral again for a different session in upcoming webinars. And I hope everyone is safe out there, and let's meet next week.
Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.